everyone, welcome to the Jukebox Goes to the Movies. We are doing something a little special this week. Obviously, we're doing the Beatles for Artist of the Week. So instead of having one film or one entry per week for the month for one movie, we're going to do 7 entries in 7 days for the 7 times the Beatles were predominantly on screen together. So let's start today with the first kind of real time the Beatles get filmed, which is was actually a docu-short called what is it called here? What's Happening, the Beatles in the USA. And it was a 16 millimeter documentary short form made by David and Albert Maysles, as you know from Grey Gardens. And it was re-released in 1990, remastered and re-edited as The Beatles, The First US Visit. And that's the version I know because that's the version I was gifted in a VHS box set when I was 10 years old. So, the film originally premiered on CBS in November 1964. It had earlier screenings, so it actually does become an inspiration for Richard Lester's A Hard Day's Night, which comes out not too long around that time. I can't remember the exact details, but I'll have those details for you tomorrow. Anyways, so the film itself is a ton of candid moments of the Beatles. It's the first time I think American audiences, outside of press conferences and interviews, get to see the Beatles. You see them in their hotel room. You see them in the park at Central Park. You see them backstage. You see them in cars being chauffeured around. And what's cool about this is that you see them calling American DJs and requesting their favorite American songs. There's some Marvin Gaye, Pride and Joy by Marvin Gaye. I actually discovered that song because of this film and fell in love with Marvin Gaye subsequently. So, it's really kind of cool. But the other really interesting part of it is that you do get to see quite a bit of concert footage, and you also get to notice how insular the Beatle world is becoming. They can't go out. They can't do anything. There's just a drone of screaming on the streets under their hotel room window. It's constant. It's a barrage. So you get to see how insular their life is getting and how much they're coming to rely on one another and the people in their environment to really kind of give them everything they need from the outside world. Now, today the film still gets shown. It was shown in 2008 at Silver Docs, and in 2011 it was shown for Albert Maysles' 85th birthday in New York City. So the film is actually quite beloved, and really a lot of the black and white footage you see from the period when the Beatles were in the United States is pulled from that documentary. There's a really famous sequence with the boys trying to shut, I think it's George's suitcase, and everyone's sitting on it, standing on it, jumping on it, and it's too full. And it just demonstrates that America was like, it was their goal. It was their El Dorado. It was their source of inspiration more than anything else. So I really do love watching them geek out on being in the United States for the first time, while the fans around them are just driving them completely bonkers. They don't let them sleep. They don't let them go out. They don't let them do anything. It's actually really wild to watch. And also, you get concert footage from 4 shows, 3 of them Ed Sullivan. The first Ed Sullivan appearance in New York City, the second Ed Sullivan appearance from Miami, and then the third Ed Sullivan appearance again in New York City. But you also get the Washington Coliseum performance, and this one is unique because it's the round stage. And what's really funny about the Washington Coliseum performance is it's the round stage. You've seen it, I think, in the anthology, when the stage jams. Like, it's just not a good stage, and it jams up, and they get stuck. And they're trying to perform to everyone in the audience. They only have about 40 minutes because that's how long the Beatles shows were. And they played faster than they were supposed to, and you can't hear anything over the droning, screeching sounds. So the film is a practice in patience, and you really have to like enjoy the hilarity that is the Beatles fans from the 1960s, the original first wave fans. So go watch it. It's actually a really good snapshot of like 10 days in the Beatles' lives. It's brilliant. And the Maisels, go check out their other stuff. Grey Gardens. Paul McCartney actually works with them again about 10 years ago, I want to say, when he put together the documentary of the day he was in New York on September 11th. So he was there 9/11, and he was being documented because he was on tour or going on tour. I can't remember the exact details now, but basically the Maisels made that movie too. So go check out their filmography and the first US visit. See you tomorrow.